All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops of great Muslim who rule well and who has 100% truth. And this is for the hopefully elect of Israel, which I used to call Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And also you speckled birds that scattered across the four corners of the earth to mingle within the other nations to make look like the other heathen nations. If this word resonates with you, then your lineage go back from your father's side to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are the true Hebrew Israelites, in which the Bible speaks of. It's a brother derived from Jim at Detroit Count, and it's going to be a spiritual observer video epistle in which all the prophets, apostles, and spiritual observers, seers, the prophets. Okay, and this is who we are. We have learned from our apostles, elders, bishops, brothers on down, great millstone. Okay, again, praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of great millstone on down, who rule well and who has the 100% truth. Okay, now, statement. Okay, a spiritual observer would note that the present world system reveals a pattern of deep-rooted wickedness operating on multiple levels. While public attention is often drawn to high-profile scandals and redacted names tied to past crimes, these represent only a small portion of a much larger reality. The broader system shows a consistent exploitation of humanity, particularly the minds of the young, through digital platforms, psychological manipulation, and technological advancement. At the same time, global conflict narratives are filled with contradiction and confusion, exposing deception at the highest levels of power. Okay, these developments are not isolated; they form a larger pattern that points toward increasing control, moral decay, and the steady fulfillment of prophecy. As truth continues to spread and expose these works, there's also an observable shift toward restricting and managing information. Okay, nothing new. They've been doing it, and now it's about to get heavy. Okay, so this raises concern that a time is approaching when access to truth will be limited. Okay, it will be limited, and we're gonna get some scripture. But first, we're gonna watch this short video pursuant to the 1976 Fair Use Copyright Act under Section 107. I'm not making any monetary gain from this. Okay, this is for educational purposes only. Okay, fair use, fair use.
That allow Facebook, that allow Meta, that allow all of these social media platforms to evade liability for any criminal wrongdoing that occurs on their platform. And actually, in this case here, I think it's really expanded beyond the realm of criminal. It's moved on to more negligence in general. It doesn't necessarily even have to be criminal based on what I've heard so far today, but the reports are still coming in. I think that this is a huge victory for the American people, because right now, right, they're operating this huge marketplace, and imagine it's like a real physical place, right? And they're allowing all of this criminal activity to go on, or all of this activity that's resulting in substantial harm to children, right? You wouldn't want that. And this is just an online way of doing it. The law needs to catch up to reality. And this is a great way for it to happen. I'm not surprised that a jury would rule this way because they want to protect their kids, but I think it's a victory for everybody.
Right, and this case is seen by some as, David versus Goliath. Obviously, there's still going to be an appeal process here, but Christian, do you see this as leading to some major changes at social media companies?
Oh, absolutely right. Madeline was right. When this verdict came in, I was actually excited about it because at the end of the day, my background is both physics and computer science and computer engineering and economics. And I had a software company where we built algorithms that would be in e-commerce, but we targeted people that had certain elements of engagement. And when we had licensed a lot of our software to various companies, we knew that in the EULA, in the terms and conditions, they specifically try to tell everybody what they're going to do, but that doesn't hold them harmless. When you willfully or your intent is to trap an individual in almost kind of like a binary ecosystem. And that's what they did with children. There is no question that this was targeted at children to get the most amount of eyeballs for the longest amount of time. And that is not right. And so even if you say you got some protectionism.
Now, with that being heard, and this, by the way, was through NTD, okay? And it has a lot of news and current events and things that are happening in Babylon the Great, aka America, okay? All right, so with that, we're going to start off, okay, with Revelation chapter 18, verse 12, and it reads, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood, okay, and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and of iron and of marble, okay, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Okay? Souls of men. So let's get that in the blue letter interlinear. Souls, which goes into Strong's G5590, psyche. Okay? So let's get the Strong's info. So K from G5594 goes into breath. That's the root word etymology. Spirit, abstractly or concretely, the animal sentient principle only. Thus distinguished on the one hand from G5, selected G4151, which is the rational and immortal soul. And on the other from G222, which is mere vitality, even of plants. These terms thus exactly correspond respectively to the Hebrew H5315, okay, H7307, H2416, the heart. Another word for that is the lab, okay, life, mind, soul, us plus you, okay, which goes into the breath of life, vital force which animates the body and shows itself in breathing animals of men life, that in which there is life, okay? All right? A living being, a living soul, okay? So that's what that's talking about, okay? Again, let's go back to Revelation 18 and verse 13. And the cinnamon and the odors, and ointments and frankincense, and wine and oil, and fine flour and wheat, and beasts and sheep, and horses and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. Okay? Souls of men. Now, you got Meta. Okay, that's the news we just read. You got all these other social media, okay, changes going on in your brain. I mean, a lot of people stay on that social media all day, every day. You got some good information on there, but you also got some things that are not good on there, okay? And it's corrupting the minds and the souls of men. And then the ultimate giveaway is going to be Revelation 13 and 16, okay? You got multiple states right now, file lawsuits against Meta Platform alleging deliberate use of addictive design features targeting children. Okay. Now, where were they at when in the Epstein files? Okay, and all the other stuff going on. Okay. They claim to want to protect the children, but yet the back door, you got the Pete files. Okay. So you got awareness. right now going off harm to mental health, anxiety, depression, body image issues, okay? Continued deployment of these systems for profit. And that was reported from Rollins, it confirms. Internal research showed harm, yet was not acted upon. Findings highlighted by the Wall Street Journal. And it's got here, Instagram worsened mental health outcomes among teens. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm just reading the news, okay? And what's the spiritual insight? This reflects a system that profits from psychological captivity, turning attention, identity, and emotion into commodities. This is the book of Micah. And we're going to go to chapter 2 and verse 1. And it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And in the morning and this night they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they cover fields and take them by force, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. to like it. And you can go even to the northern kingdom, okay? Which Christopher Colon came over here. What did he do? He oppressed that. He oppressed the people, the northern kingdom, okay? Took the heritage, you know. They even go back even in the scriptures. He done these things. This is Esau, the progenitor of the Edomites, okay? Self-proclaimed YT man, okay? Right. So he oppresses a man and his house and his heritage, okay? And you can go to Psalms chapter 83, okay? And that crafty counsel. Let me see. Let's get this right quick. Book of Psalms, chapter 83. I'm not going to make this long. Start at verse 2. Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay? They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom first on the list, and the Ishmaelites, Moab, okay, Chinese and the Hagarenes, you know. So if you keep reading on, these are our nations that are not the chosen seed, that are against us, okay? Now they don't want to hear it, but they're going to hear it because they've been called out in the scriptures, okay? So again, book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. And it's going to jump down to verse 2. And they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay, because Babylon the Great, aka America, is the only captivity where we didn't know who we were until we've been woken up, valley of dry bones. Okay. Now with that, that's by the way in Ezekiel 36. Okay. 37. So like 37. Now, let's go to 2nd Ezra 15 chapter. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, in the Apocrypha, chapter 15. And verse 9. So like, and it's like this, and it reads, and therefore said the Heavenly Father Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. This place is also known as spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. Okay, also a Revelation. Okay, so this, okay, this is the modern fulfillment. The souls of men. Okay, this is the modern fulfillment. Okay, so there's a lot going on. It's a lot going on right now. Okay, now, for instance, the souls of men is going to come through the Quran, Revelation 13, 16. Okay, right now, you in the news, you have China, which approved brain computer interface, BCI. Okay, used in clinical settings. Individuals can control external devices using thought. This is not new, you heard it before. Expansion toward broader applications is underway. This places them in direct competition with Neuralink. Okay, so Moab, I just read, they consulted together. What's the spiritual insight? The system is moving beyond influencing behavior toward direct interaction with the human mind. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Okay, this is the book. Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. And it reads, yet also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heap it unto him all people. Okay? And that's going to be the people part through the CHIP, through the RFID, okay? Radio identification, okay? Radio frequency identification, okay? Revelation 13 and 16. The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And it reads, and he causeth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, charagma, the right hand or their foreheads. You should already know the breakdown, charagma, okay? G5480, charagma, okay? Strong's info from the same as charagma, from the same as G5482. Scratch or etching, stamp as a badge of servitude, word, sculpture, figure, graven mark, okay? A stamp and a printed mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand of the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. It's more than, it's not just one singular figure. It's anybody that goes against Yahweh Shai. And you go against them, you go against the chosen seed. Okay? Now, the mark branded upon horses for ownership, being carved, sculptured, graven work of idolatrous images. So this thing has to get it subdermally implanted, okay, under your skin. If you do that, you will be destroyed. And this is no word connected to it, Karax, okay? G5482, Karax. Strong's info, Karasso, to suffer to a point, akin to G1125, to the idea of scratching a stake by application of palisade or rampant military mile for circumvallation in a siege, trench. Okay, now, this will be the vehicle used, okay, to transfer the C-hip, small grain to rice, a silicone case. It's going to be passed through an injection, through a syringe, subdermally implanted under your skin, okay? He calls it all to receive a mark, okay? That's the progression, okay? Now, the progression is with social media, mental influence. You got the brain tech neurological interface, okay? Right? So this is what's happening, all right? Now, it's going to be a battle because China's trying to beat, a.k.a. Babylon the Great America, okay? to the punch, okay? And it's just around the corner. It is just around the corner, okay? So now, prophecy can't leapfrog over another. You got global war, and you got contradiction and deception, okay? You got contradictory narratives. You got claims of weaken or destroy capabilities, with Iran, okay? These are accusations, but hey, it's prophecy. Yet you got continued reports of active military presence and operations, okay? Coverage from Associated Press shows ongoing tensions to the Strait of Hormuz. Persistent risk of escalation, okay? What's the spiritual insight? Confusion. It's a hallmark of deceptive governance, okay? Daniel 8:25. Get that? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 25. I'm not going to make this long. And it reads, and through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without head. Talking about Antiochus Epiphanes the fourth. Okay? Esau, DJ Nero's in the same mindset, okay, that he was in, okay? Through his policy, through deception, his policy, he caused crafts to prosper. His lies, enchantments. Isaiah 47. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. It's like Isaiah, chapter 47, and we're going to go to verse 10, verse 9. And you see the header says, Lament for Babylon. Okay? Verse 9, Isaiah 47 and 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, and widowhood, they shall come upon thee, and their profession, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. But thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge have perverted thee. Thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. This is what you said. This is what DJ Noah proclaimed. Okay? All right? So the system is fully revealed. Revelation 18. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Okay? And verse 13. And it reads, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Now I broke down what the souls of men are, okay? You got modern things that's happening, okay? This scriptural. Social platforms, control of attention, okay? That's your modern platforms, okay? Social platforms. Data economy. The data economy and monetize your identity. That's the C here, Revelation 13 and 16. Coupled with brain technology, potential control of thought, war systems, control through fear and destruction. Book of Nahum, chapter 3. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3, and verse 4. And it reads, because of the multitudes of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. Okay? So that's a complete system. Mind, body, economy, truth, okay? That's a whole complete system. The wicked system of Esau. And with that, with the lawsuits, pretty soon, it's going to be a famine of the word. Amos 8 and 11. This is the book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 11. And it reads, behold, the days come, saith everybody Yahweh, power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, okay? All right, so truth is spreading rapidly, exposure is increasing, control mechanisms are tightening. Platforms that influence minds also regulate speech, shape narratives, limit reach. Like Hebrews 4 and 12. Let's get that right quick. This is the book of Hebrew, chapter 4, verse 12. And it reads, for the word of the Most High Yahweh is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and the joints and marrow, and it's a discerner of thoughts and the intent of the heart. So these scriptures, okay, in which a lot of prophecies are in the whole scriptures, the holy scriptures. Okay, it judges the wicked. Okay, and also it corrects the elect, the hopeful elect on this side. Okay, so this word is powerful. Okay, this word is powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. It exposes corporate exposure, technological exposure, political exposure. The word cuts through all layers of deception. Okay, all layers. Okay. 2 Corinthians 16, chapter verse 73. They shall know. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Okay, and that's these scriptures. Okay, so the prophets, teachers, these are spiritual observers. Okay, seers. Okay, so they will conclude that these events are not random. They are interconnected signs of a system reaching its peak. And as it is written, the system trades in souls, but the truth continues to expose it. And it will not return void, okay? And with that, the water to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kabbalah. That's what I'm going to bring this out. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kabbalah. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. And with that, Shalom.